Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello, and welcome back to the channel where you join me in the storage with the Shmeemobiles today for something that I've been going backwards and forwards about ever since I collected my new car, my dream car, the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG Black Series, which is of course to do with the colour. I had previously said that I was going to paint it, and that is what we are going to do today. We're going to be taking the car up so that I can show you some samples of the colour that it is going to be transforming into. It is going to be a full body respray, but to do the drive, we're going to be taking up the GT R Pro as well as the SLS Black, and amusingly, although I've only owned that for a very short time, I've done more miles in it than I have in 4 months in the Pro. Today we will change that though, get this a little bit more run-in ahead of the adventures to come, but I am quite excited about how all of this is going to turn out, and I'll give you a bit more of an explanation as to why and what exactly we're doing with the SLS Black. I know exactly what you are thinking. How can I do this? This car looks so fantastic. In fact, I think it is a one-off in Himalaya Grey. But as you can see from the other Shmeemobiles, I tend to like quite bright colours. I like my cars where I can spec them, where I can choose something that's pretty unique, in many cases completely and totally unique, and then they all stand out. And when you look at a line of cars like this, to be honest, that kind of almost disappears into the shadows. It's not very me. I like bright colours. This is why I want to make this my own permanent car. I'm going to be keeping it forever, I hope, like with the Ford GT, like with some of the other cars in the collection. And to do that, I want to make it something really pretty special. So the car does look fantastic. To be honest, having known that it had been driving the first 10,000 kilometers of its life, of course, I bought it used from Germany and imported it. I actually expected the paintwork was going to be in worse condition than it is, but it's actually really quite nice, which is why this has been tearing me up so much. I know that car collectors would say, given there are only 350 of them in the world, and it's such a special paint colour to begin with, how could I possibly do this? But I want to make the car mine. I've been thinking about this a long time. My decision is made, and today we're going to be taking it all the way up to Chartwell. Now, Chartwell is quite interesting because it is, of course, where I had the McLaren Senna fixed up after the incident last year. They did a fantastic job with that, so I reached out to them to ask to go through the quotations and things for this, and that's where we're going to be going to get the work done. Before we do though, one or two things. The last update with the SLS Black was getting the registration done. The car is now UK registered. This is still a show plate. It's been given a generic registration to start. We have a system where you can transfer and change them, but today we've got to drive it on the export plates to go and get its new real plates before in a couple of days' time it could technically be registered as SH62 MEE. We won't see that plate on the car until it is a completely different colour. So for the time being, we're going to be taking both of these out. We need to get those fully uncovered. I'm going to be joined by Tony from Turbo Transport as well to pilot whichever one I'm not driving, and I can't wait actually to have these two on the roads together. Those are all covered back up. Those two are ready to be taken out. Of course, we've got to do a little bit of a switcheroo to put the Supra away here. I've been daily driving the Supra at the moment, and then get both of these started up with Tony to take them on out, and also of course swap over the plates because I cannot drive at the moment on that. That would not be currently registered and therefore could be a problem. Before we get both of these cars started up, my friend Chris from the Car Finders, who's been helping me with the import and the paperwork and that side of things, has gone to pick up some number plates, so he will be back in a moment and we can snap them on and then drive it properly. But of course, taking two cars, I need somebody else to drive the other one, and I'm joined today by Tony from Turbo Transport. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very much looking forward to this, and I think, if you don't mind, I'm going to pop you at the wheel of the SLS, because I kind of want to see what it looks like.
Awesome.
The only problem is that we have two identical keys and have to work out which one is which I've done by a little sticker on the back, which gives a small hint as to what colour that car is going. So let me give you that one, if you don't mind. Yeah. The beauty of the gullwing doors, it's actually really easy to step into it, even here, when it's quite a narrow space. And this, of course, has the 6.2 NA V8, so sounds mega, even in comparison to the 4-litre twin-turbo V8, which doesn't exactly sound bad in the GT R Pro. Left-hand drive, I got the hang of it. You just have to step over that sill. And I tell you what, can you hit the button in the centre console to fire this up? Yeah. Let's take a listen to this quickly. I love that. Such a raw bark. So, I guess, yeah, we'll just get them warm for a second and then depart any moment. As we head out of London, and hopefully we're going to have a drive without too much traffic, I can't believe that the car that I am currently following is actually now my SLS AMG Black Series. I've been talking about them for years, and this is actually the first time, of course, I have seen it outside myself in the sunshine at all. And that colour, that kind of pearlescent dark silver, does look really nice. I know it is almost criminal in a way to be changing it, and to be changing it away from something quite so special. Another thing you might notice is that it doesn't actually have any badges on the back of the car. I have ordered a set of badges, so it will have the AMG and SLS badges on the back. That's obviously pretty important to me to have those. I normally like them to be how they're kind of initially presented. But that car and the colour of it, this is obviously something that comes a bit to me from ordering cars from new, speccing them, having them in a unique configuration. And if I'm going to keep the car and keep it for me, this almost collector value of it being in its original colour isn't quite so relevant. It's my car to make it how I want it to. And that's why I've been going backwards and forwards, because part of me is like, if I ever sell it, it should be in its original colour. Maybe it's, you know, more special that way to another collector, but I'm going to enjoy that car. We're going to go VMAX on the Autobahn. We're going to take it around the Nürburgring. We're going to take it to the USA, I hope, this summer. We're going to take it on track days. It's not a garage queen, it's a car to drive and enjoy, which is why we're doing this today. So we've got a fairly long drive ahead of us to get all the way up towards Chartwell, up a couple of hours really at the end of the day. And like I said, this is going to more than double the mileage on this car as we bring it back down towards London afterwards. But just looking at that thing on the road, it is so wide, the arches and the rear, it's one of the best looking cars out there. I completely love it, and I can't wait for it to be mine in my colour. I know that's strange, but this is what's going on in my mind. Anywho, let's I guess have a nice gentle drive up. Obviously, a slightly amusing thing about this is that this car is still doing the run-in process, so I have to drive it fairly gently. I am going to toggle it into individual mode, just because we are going to have a small little acceleration out onto the motorway in just a moment. Following though the SLS, I love seeing that car on the road. It just looks so awesome. So awesome. Go to the right lane, head past just for a second. I mean, for me, this is unreal. This is such a special moment to be here with both of these together. Now having it behind me, I know you can't quite see that, but I mean, seeing that car behind me, just seeing that car behind me. So I'm gonna pop the window down a little bit, and then we should be able to get a little bit of a sound. Oh, I love it. I love seeing that car on the road. It is so cool. The SLS Black Series. How is that my car? This doesn't make sense. I just can't wait now until it is in my colour. Talking of which, obviously, when we get there, I will explain a little bit more and show you the paint samples that I believe they have made up, so that I can introduce the colour that it is going to be. A colour with quite a story that has been on the channel a few times before. No, not MSO Cerulean Blue, but something else that I've discussed and shown you in connection to other cars that I've chosen. All will make sense in a couple of hours' time, well, for you guys in a few seconds, when we get up towards Chartwell. We stopped on the way up for a quick bite to eat, and I tell you what, these two cars side by side are looking very cool. That is much quieter than this. I'm now going to take the wheel though of the SLS to drive it for the last leg of today, just to, I guess, enjoy it before it's going to be out of action for probably the best part of 6 weeks or something like that, for all of this to be done. But to life, this thing sounds so good, so good. Right, let's get the door down, little reach to actually grab that, and then in a second continue back on the way. Okay, out we go. So there's a lot in common between these two. Big engines up front, lots of power, rear wheel drive, dual clutch gearboxes, and now I get to see the GT R Pro on the road, which is also a first today. So with this, I'm going to pop it into manual. One of the fundamental differences between the two being that this is already run in, of course, given that it's already done 10,000 kilometers. To actually import without having to pay taxes and things again here in the UK, it has to already have a minimum of 6,000 kilometers on the clock and be 6 months old. So fortunately, it meets those criteria. Yes, we're in roadworks, so average speed cameras, and the usual bore of driving in the UK. But out we go this way. I love that noise, the rawness of the sound that this makes. Oh, bump bump, it's very firm. Obviously the suspension in the SLS Black is one of the biggest things about it. Oh, some big holes in the ground. Okay, there we go. Yes. So good. Thanks, navigation, we know that. Okay, so we are away then. Oh, I love this thing. We've got to the end of the motorway stretch, now onto some dual carriageways, but I'm going to pop the car into manual because one of my favourite things about this car are the downshifts. 6th gear, 5th gear, 4th gear, 3rd, 2nd, and down into 1st. It sounds so good. The rawness and anger of the naturally aspirated V8. So you know what, this is almost a bit of a tease because although I've driven the car now, I think maybe 350 miles or so in total, it doesn't really feel like I've actually driven it. And I don't think it will until I have the car completely ready after paintwork to PPF, of course. For the moment, we have a national speed limit dual carriageway, which means give a little bit of a gap, foot down. Wow, the sound is glorious. The sound is absolutely glorious. And this is before we do anything interesting with it in the future. Yeah. Oh, exciting times. So we're not far away, 8 minutes or so still to go, and then we will get there and finally take a look at the colour. We have made it then here to Chartwell's, having slightly lost Tony in the process, but he is arriving now with the Pro, which we can park up back with the Black Series. Look at that thing. I tell you what, all of the aero on that car looks really, really cool. It's a very, very special beast. As is that. What a fun drive. To discuss everything that's going to be done then, the car is currently coming into the showroom actually, so that we can have a proper look around it and talk about how this is going to work out. But listen to that, the proper burble that it makes. Such a good sound. We've just been going around the car, talking about everything that is going to be done to it, all of the finer details, but I guess it is now time to show you and reveal the colour that this car is going to be painted. And I have a spray out card here to show you exactly what it's going to be. My SLS AMG Black Series is going to be painted Mystic Blue, Mercedes AMG colour, a colour that they actually offer on the G63 and I almost went for on mine, but look at this. So everything that you can see on the car, all of the silver is going to be painted in this pearlescent, dark, almost purple-esque blue. It is a stunning colour, and in fact, there is actually one of these in this paint colour out there in the Middle East. It wasn't a car I'd have been able to bring over to Europe myself, but this is going to look amazing when it's all done. So just think, for example, all of the carbon will stay with the exposed carbon, as will the gloss black parts on the side vent, for example, over the bonnet. I might do some changes, like some carbon fibre mirror caps, perhaps some small things like that, but everything that is silver is going to be going to this colour, one of my favourite colours in fact. It's just, I think it's stunning. I think this in the sunshine is going to look awesome, and of course you guys know from the channel, I'm very much a blue fan when it comes to cars, just it was never a standard option on the SLS Black Series to order them in blue. You could have Solar Beam yellow, you could have Le Mans red, but you couldn't have anything blue. So that is the choice for this car. There will be some more details to discuss over time. For example, the mirror caps. I might make the wheels silver. I do quite like my bright silver wheels against darker paint colours. There's another thing I'd quite like as well. On the inside, you can get the carbon fibre sills for driver and passenger side, so that could be one of the options. A few more small bits and pieces that will evolve over a little bit of time. But I'm going to be leaving the car here and coming back for some periodic updates to see this process happening, to see the car, because of course it needs to be stripped down. When it's fully stripped down, the paint or the original surfaces all need to be prepared, so they have to be sanded down as well. Then of course it will be fully painted, and there's a whole process behind that. We'll talk about how the different areas are going to be done, the engine bay, the boot for example, and then of course the lengthy process to reassemble and bring it back together. And I've chosen to do this here at Chartwell's for two reasons. One, because of the fantastic job on my Senna, and I think to me is the most important thing to know that it's in safe hands. And secondly, of course, they are a Mercedes approved body shop, so perfectly suited to be working on this. all I can say is that I'm definitely going to slightly miss the silver, this colour, the Himalaya Grey, but that is a bit of me. Mystic Blue, SLS Black Series, coming to the Shmee 150 channel a little bit down the line from here. For the moment then, it is going to be farewell to the SLS Black. I will be back with it again very soon to see the next stages, but we will hop on board the GT R Pro, where it has now been raining outside, to continue the journey and head back towards home. It is just typical luck that the weather is not so pleasant right now, but I'm going to hop on the passenger, into the passenger seat. Turning at the wheel, we're up to 376 miles on the clock now. Basically literally doubling this in a day today. Gosh, passenger seat of this car is surprisingly similar to the SLS Black. They're actually the same bucket seats in this car. Completely the same. We fire it up into life. There we go. Alrighty. The only problem right now is that that does look really good. But alas, that's it for now. Onwards we go to get this journey rocking and rolling. Got some music on. Nice touch buttons that we have in this car. And yeah, out we head. There is something in common right now with the weather and the last time we departed from Chartwell, which was also in a Mercedes AMG car actually, one that shares the engine of this, the 4-litre twin turbo V8, and that is the atrocious weather. Fun times, eh? Yep. Perfect for a car like this. Perfect weather conditions for Sport Cup 2 tyres in an AMG GT R Pro. No pressure, Tony. No, thanks. Sorry about that. As always, this has quickly become sitting in a traffic jam. It's going to take us quite a while to get, with this weather and all of the traffic, back towards London, a couple of hours down the motorways. But in the meantime, I just want to say a little bit more about the colour, because I know there are going to be people out there, understandably so, who will tell me that I should have kept this car silver. And I do completely get that. It was a stunning colour, it looked awesome, and part of me is a little bit torn by the fact that I am changing it and not going to have that colour. But ultimately, like I said, this is my dream car to keep in my garage forever, to use and to enjoy. And I think a big importance for me of that is making it exactly how I want it, whether that's down to the small spec details and the extra options and things that I can add to it, or in this case of course the main body color. And I loved Mystic Blue every time I've seen it. In fact, let me just show you quickly a clip of a Mystic Blue car. And then this G63. Now the reason this stands out to me is the color scheme of this is actually Mystic Blue. Mystic Blue with silver wheels and the red calipers was one of the options I considered doing my car if I was going to have it from factory in one of the options that you could actually order, as opposed to doing the topaz skin, which I eventually did. And we did do a color sample test of this color for potentially doing my arches, but we went with something else in the end. That's on a G63 that was out at Car Vault in Dubai, but that color just stands out so much to me. And being a Mercedes color as well, it fits obviously naturally with the SLS AMG Black Series. Like I say, I'm aware of one other car out there. There might well be some more, I don't know in fact, but I don't think over in these parts, at least here in the UK for sure. They were basically only available in white, black, Imola grey, Le Mans red, or the ultimate solar beam yellow. There is a reason I haven't gone with solar beam yellow. We will talk more about that in the future. For the time being though, blue is the colour I wanted, Mystic Blue, that is the colour my SLS Black Series is going to be. I apologise to each and every one of you who thinks that's the wrong choice. For me, I think it's absolutely perfectly the right choice, so that's why I've gone with it. For now though, it is going to be, well, a fairly long old slog in this to get us back down towards London. A big thanks, Tony, for driving today.
You're very welcome.
Enjoyed your company, as always, and yes, good to get this car driven, albeit not really driven the way we would like. There is a lot more to come very soon with this out on the roads properly, and a couple of track days, more on that to follow. For now though, that is the first part, I guess, of the transformation of the SLS Black Series. We'll be back again very soon for an update, some progress to see it stripped down and the work starting to transform the colour. So thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I appreciate your support. I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.